yardas para realizar la tacleada persiguiendo a Kittle. Purdy otra vez al aire, parecía agarrando ahí en la línea ofensiva. El pase largo, solo completamente McCaffrey. Touchdown 49ers. Le dio tiempo de caer, atrapar el balón, ponerse de pie y entrar a la zona de anotación.
What a game.
It was, a lot of the 49ers scoring, in particular, Christian McCaffrey, who had 3 touchdowns in the desert against the Cardinals. That is the way we start off the El Huddle podcast. Hola, ¿qué tal? What's good, everybody? Bienvenidos. I'm Will Salva alongside my hermana, my prima hermana, MJ Acosta Ruiz. What's up, MJ?
That was an extended there for us, and I love it. I was so happy watching that highlight over of Christian McCaffrey, and I was excited all day. I didn't check my fantasy teams all day, only to find out, because I have him on the team that I'm in the playoffs in, but I have a first round bye in the playoffs, so it didn't even matter that he pulled out this
Save
week.
those up. Save those up for the
week.
next game.
Yes,
which
sure.
At this point in time, that game between the 49ers and the Ravens on Monday night, which happens to be Christmas Day night, is that what we call it? Is a massive game where you have 2 number 1 seeds here, MJ.
Crazy. This is the gift that we deserve. The gift that gives on giving. And I know we're not really used to having football on Christmas Day. I know traditionally that was an NBA day. That's typically what we watch at home. But my dad's like, let's go, lock it in. His West Coast team, it's probably my influence here as well from having covered them for so long, is the 49ers. He really loves this 49ers team. So he's excited to be able to watch that with the family on Monday night for sure.
Yeah, that's a biggie for both of them. And we saw the Lamar magic on display against Jacksonville, just extending plays. It looked like he was almost getting sacked. Then he throws the ball, then he completes it to Isaiah Likely. They just seem to be on a different level right now, and this is where you want to be in December. You want to be on a roll. You want to be playing your best football, and that's what's happening with the 49ers. I think the only concern for them was their tackling and the run defense. They did miss some guys on the D line, so we'll see how healthy they're going to be. That goes for Eric Armstead and also Javon Hargrave. Needless to say, though, this is definitely a marquee matchup that I'm looking forward to. And there's definitely going to be other marquee matchups that we will be looking forward to. One in particular that I know is of great interest to you is the Dolphins and the Cowboys. And it sounds like it's just easy to get a ticket down there in South.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if
no
you're in the resale,
if
you're in the resale market and you have about 10 grand to laying around for 2 tickets, I'm not kidding. That's an actual number, an actual amount that people are reselling tickets. So it's Christmas Eve afternoon game. You go there, you go home, you have your lechon, you have your Noche Buena party. It's a perfect day if you can afford it, if you can manage to squeeze yourself in there. Absolute bananas. I mean, especially coming off of this most recent game that they played against the Jets. This is just exactly what folks in South Florida want. Late December football that already feels like playoff football for sure. So, but that's going to be an interesting one for sure, because I definitely thought the Cowboys were going to come up with not a commanding victory, but a solid victory over the Bills. And it was the complete opposite. The Bills
dominated.
I know. He's very excited about it.
That was a dominating performance against Dallas. And listen, we all were kind of swept up in the hype of Dak being an MVP candidate and the way that Mike McCarthy was calling plays and how they played at home, but how they play on the road. They're now 3-4. And that just now gives me pause and makes me think, no confío en ellos. Like, I just don't have the confidence that they will be able to get it done when it matters the most in January. They are dominant at home, 7-0, but 3-4. And the Bills just had their way with their running game. It just was something where James Cook could do no wrong, couldn't be stopped. And it just was disappointing to see the Cowboys lay an egg the way that they did. And I think a lot of people are now starting to say, I don't know if I can trust the Cowboys. Here we go again. Otro año, la misma cosa, right?
I
The
saw a
same
lot
thing.
of reaction on Twitter or whatever we're calling it now, all over social media of Cowboys fans just saying like, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why. And it's like, okay, don't freak out. First of all, the Bills are a worthy opponent. That is a very tough team. Perhaps have not played to the level that we've expected them to play this season, but that is a hard team to go up against. I think what really stands out is the lack of explosiveness, especially offensively, that we've seen from this Cowboys team, certainly over the last month at minimum. That's interesting. And then to have to go up against a Dolphins team that is an absolute track meet. Tyreek didn't play last week, but we'll see. They'll probably want to have him as ready to go as possible against the Cowboys on a Christmas Eve home game for the Finns. So that's going to be a tough one for sure for them.
Yeah, and then they're going to have to rely on Jalen Waddle, who is a number one wide receiver in his own right, and exploded against the Jets. The Cowboys have to figure something out here. I think the O-line, once they had injury there, they also just couldn't generate anything going with Pollard and that running game, and just Dak and CeeDee Lamb were just not on the same page. And hats off to Papi's Bills, because that defense is really stifling at the moment. And they would be the team right now that I would not look forward to if they made the playoffs.
No.
Considering how they played the last 2 weeks against quality opponents in the Chiefs and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, they put up the defense, to your point, has always been a tough challenge from the Bills, but they put up 31 points as well offensively. And Josh Allen is still playing top tier level 1 quarterback action. It's incredible to watch. And even in the games where we know they've taken a loss, you still have to say, yeah, but Josh Allen balled out, right? So like that's always something that you have to keep in mind when you're talking about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, for sure. And it helps to have a strong running game, which if my mom understood football, she'd say, Joe Fido. Yeah, that's just a phrase in Nicaragua, a la perica. You know, that's like impressive. That's something, which a la perica I don't think means anything to anybody except in Nicaragua. Which, by the way, I think of my mom, my family, your family, our traditions that we grew up with. Let me ask you this. How many nativity sets do you have?
Oh, my God.
Like how many? I mean, we had probably like a dozen at least.
We didn't have that many because we didn't have that much space. We had an apartment in New York, but we did.
Like on the windowsills, maybe?
There was one on the windowsill for sure. There was definitely one under the tree, and that was like the more legit one, right? Like it was made out of wood. There was like fake moss. You had like the very realistic looking figurines of like the whole nativity set night. Then there was one that was like an ornament that went on the tree, and I was like, we get it. We got it. We got it.
It's not enough.
No, not enough.
It's not enough. You need more.
3 was like a very conservative number of nativity sets in my household. My parents did give me an ornament one for my tree because they were like, well, you're not gonna have one. I'm like,
because we have
Thanks,
2 that the kids made, and
that's sweet.
And one that my mom gave us, and then there's another one that we did not put up. But you know, growing up, we had Los Reyes Magos. That was a big thing too. You try to really just bring out that spirit of Christmas, right? That's really, really important.
We tried to blend like our traditions, right? Our Dominican and Latino traditions with like the very American traditions that they were trying to uphold and learn and integrate into our lives. Because in DR, like to your point, the big Christmas day is 3. Yes, Gunny. That's my dog, guys. He's annoyed that I'm not paying him attention. I also bought gifts for Gunny. He has no idea about the gifts that are coming on Christmas Eve as opposed to the gifts I probably bring him.
They'll be shredded in like 2 hours.
Every other day. Well, no, he's not going to know the difference because I literally bring him something every other day. It's getting out of control. He does not need any more toys.
So you're not spoiling him is what you're saying.
No, not at all. He's a very structured, very disciplined dog. Where'd you go? Come here. You know, kids walk in, dogs walk in. That's I can
the
hear
way it
him.
goes.
I can hear his little footsteps being mischievous. But yeah, so we always try to include as many traditions, but like keep our Latinidad very, very present. You couldn't hide it even if you wanted to, you know. So.
No, we couldn't. So yeah, making the cookies was a big tradition, and obviously decorating with the big lights and everything. Like we literally had like these 3 huge lights that we hung from the stairs. These massive things with like chains that we would have that were certainly not safely secured onto the staircase.
So we're now up to code.
No, hell no. No, it definitely wasn't the case. But they had like, you know, I just remember like the light bulbs were like, you know, bright yellow and dark green and just things that I don't even know if they have now. And they also had this little projector wheel that had 4 different colors on it that would just go round and round that would, you know, project onto to el árbol, right? To the tree. So definitely a lot of great memories growing up of the Christmas experience.
I go pretty hardcore with like the indoor decorations. Like the tree itself is a very big deal. You know, the stockings, the other little knickknacks around the house, but the outdoor decor, I'm like, I'm not getting up on a ladder. I'm not doing any of that. Yeah. Where am I plugging this into? Who's going to climb this? David's certainly not going to do it. I bet you if I asked, he would apply. He would oblige. But I did cheat, and I got that light projector thing.
Yeah, so and that's fine.
Hard. Yeah, and it's perfect, guys. Everyone, just buy one of these. It's save yourself. It's the life hack of a century. I'm trying to put my parents on, but they're Christmas purists, so they're going to do the lights and like the blow up snowman outside, mostly because of my niece now. Yeah. But I was like, if y'all don't get this projector and be done with it in 5 minutes, that's me. I'm gonna look for the hack. It's up to us, the next generation, to not bog ourselves down with all this stuff.
I agree, prima hermana. I agree. Also, Gunny, who's there with you.
He's like so needy today.
Hey, listen, I need you today, you know, and our
Where's
guest is
father,
going
Gunny?
to
Don't bother him.
And our guest is going to need you, because the last time we had him on this podcast, I was the one that had a chance to interview him. So now you're going to be interviewing him. We're talking to. Sorry, I meant to say both of us.
Oh, I was going to say you're leaving me?
No. I was just thinking of like when I interviewed him last time. But Bears kicker Cairo Santos is also Brasileiro. So we're going to be talking to him about the fact that there is going to be a game in Brazil, what his thoughts are, all of that coming up on the other side. You are listening to the Huddle podcast.
The roar of the crowd, your favorite team, old rivalries, new players. Super Bowl 58 is happening in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Mundo NFL wants to send you to the big game. Get a chance to win 2 tickets to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, Nevada, just by signing up at nfl.com/boletos. You can't win if you don't enter. Do it now. No purchase necessary. Ends December 31st, 2023. Must be a legal resident of the 50 U.S. states or D.C., 18 or over. Void where prohibited. For official rules which govern and complete details, visit nfl.com/boletos.
Vai o Cairo Santos para potencialmente ganhar o jogo aqui para o Chicago Bears. Só ele pontuando na noite. Vai para a bola o Cairo e é bom o chute no meio do Y. Só pontuou o Cairo Santos na noite de hoje para o Chicago Bears.
That's how it sounded in Brazil. That's our guy, Cairo Santos, who's a Bears kicker and joining us for the second time on the Huddle podcast. I believe the first guest to join us twice. MJ, meet my buddy Cairo Santos. Cairo, MJ, Cairo. Hey!
I'm so excited to finally be able to talk to you and try to falar in Portuguese.
Oh, yeah.
Entende pouquinho. Literally, guys, that's the extent of how much I can speak Portuguese, and I don't know if I did that well, but we're gonna try, because we're trying to.
What do you think, Cairo? Pretty good, right?
Very good. First, she said she could only talk before we went on. She could only say a little bit. Now she's like, her vocabulary is already growing.
Yeah, exactly.
I may have lied a little.
Yeah, she's really quick.
Come on. How about you, Cairo? Do you know a little Spanish?
I feel like I can understand A lot. It's just like when I'm asked to speak Spanish, then I get
Yeah, yeah,
Portuguese, English, all, and I try to translate
right.
everything, and it ends up so confusing. But yeah, I took it all through high school and college,
Hmm.
and the similarities between the two languages are
Right.
close enough to kind of understand what is being said, but the conjugation changes a lot that
Very
it's
different.
confusing enough to make it difficult.
No, for sure, because Portuguese is sort of a blend of Spanish, French, a couple of other things as well. So it is complicated for sure. But I used
Yeah.
to work for Latin Trade Magazine. I was a junior advertising associate, which meant I just did all the work for like the sales execs.
Uh-huh.
But we had it in English and Spanish and in Portuguese. So I had the copy in front of me for years. So I was able to learn to read and understand a lot of the Portuguese while I was at that job. I've lived many lives, you guys, but that was like a cool way to
Impressive, yeah.
be tuned in.
You
Yeah,
know, Cairo, to have you back on, when we last spoke with you, we were talking about the idea, the possibility of an NFL game being played in Brazil.
Hmm.
It finally happened, where Brazil is going to be hosting an NFL game. Where were you when the news finally came out?
So the day before, which was last Tuesday, there was a lot of going on social media that the news would be announced the following day on a Wednesday. So from Tuesday, it was already like, all
Mhm.
right, it looks like it's happening. They just need a final confirmation to come out from the NFL, but it looks like it's gonna be played in Brazil. Um, but what I thought was interesting that Monday night that we just played a clip of that game, Minnesota. Um, John Sutcliffe from the ESPN New
Yeah,
Mexico.
Yeah,
our buddy.
our buddy,
Yeah, he's amazing. I love him.
great
He's
guy.
so fun to talk to. Monday Night Football. Uh, and so we were talking during the game, and he mentioned to me there's a lot of talk going on, and so then like I already started to get really excited that okay, like coming from him, like he might really know what's going on.
Mm.
I got really excited, so I had to kind of like, okay, how do I focus the rest of this game, knowing that we're close to being announcing a game in Brazil. But it wasn't until last week that I really, when the official news came out, that I
Mhm.
saw the details that it was going to be played in São Paulo, the state where I was born. I was born in a
Wow.
city called
So cool.
Limeira, about an hour and a half from São Paulo, and I've been to soccer games in that soccer arena that belongs to Corinthians. So I've been there. I'm hoping that the NFL would either send the Bears or
I was gonna
send
say it
put the
kind of
game
has to
on
be you
on my
guys
bye
now.
week.
And
Yeah,
right, one of the two. Like
yeah.
help us out here because you can't miss that game. You can't miss that game.
I can't. No, I think it would add so much to how special, just having the first game in Brazil, and me being the only representative
Hmm.
amongst the players at the moment is just, and the following that we've had in this last 10 years since I entered the league, I think helped grow that market. The fans became so passionate for the sport, the brand of the NFL, and I really give all the credit to them, all the people that are obsessed with a sport that's not even part of their culture. Like they learn to fall in love with American
Yeah.
football from so far away and been so hungry for this experience that it'd be an honor for me to be close to them to help it make it special.
How often do you get to go back to Brazil? Because you mentioned that's not a short flight. The proximity is not close.
It's not. So I before COVID and around COVID, I started having kids as well. So we haven't gone back since 2019.
Wow.
But before that, I went twice a year. I ran camps the first 5 or 6 years that I was in the NFL. Like every summer, go down there and put together a camp for kids just for free and just to help grow the brand, and the amount of signups that we had just blew our minds. Just like, how is this sport that popular?
Right.
And people flying in from all over the country to go to São Paulo and be a part of those camps. It was special, and so this, regardless if we're gonna have this game or not, this year I'm making plans to go back and kind of continue with what I've been doing there. That it's so special to me.
Well, Cairo, you know that there is NFL Brazil, right? And according to NFL Brazil, they have the top 5 most popular NFL teams that are being followed.
There we go.
Let's see if you can guess what they are, okay? Let's start with number 5. There's 5 teams. Like, take a wild guess as to who you think the top 5 teams are.
I would say Patriots are one of them.
Okay, that's good. Now, why would you say the Patriots?
Because the GOAT, Tom Brady.
I think we were going to say Giselle.
I was going to say the GOAT wife. She's the connecting thread here.
Among the female, probably the Patriots.
Okay, Patriots is correct.
She definitely helped. She definitely helped Tom in the Patriots. I would say the Packers.
Yes. The Packers is number 1.
Okay.
Why?
You guessed it right away. We were kind of shocked until we realized why. And I feel like you immediately.
I suspect, and I hope this is the reason, it's because they're they're green and yellow, which is Brazil's colors.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
And not because
which makes so much sense.
Yeah, not because they're a good football team. No.
And there it is.
and as a Bears player, and a Bears player no less. That's gotta just kill you.
I know.
But we can see why. We can understand.
Okay, so you got 2. So you got Patriots and
2
Packers. Yeah. So now you got 3 more.
49ers.
Yes. How did you know that?
So I think Brazilians like to dive really deep when they fall in love with something. So they probably went into the culture and the Joe Montana history, and that would be my guess to why that franchise. They're so popular there.
I love that. Okay, who else? We got 2 more.
So those are I would say the 3 easy ones.
Right.
I would maybe go with the Cowboys.
Shockingly, not in the top 5.
Yeah,
they're probably somewhere in the top 10 if I had to guess. But
I mean, we gotta go maybe a Florida team, the Dolphins.
No, I thought that too.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that
because there's so many Brazilians in Miami.
Good guesses.
In South Florida, in Boca, there's a lot of Brazilians.
I saw a huge growth in the fan base of the Chiefs when I was a part of it. So I don't know.
They are in there. Yep.
Yeah, they're in there.
Cairo.
Yeah, and then obviously, I mean, probably Pat Mahomes was the guy that really made that fan base explode for obvious reasons. But I did see the Chiefs grow a lot. Yeah. So, okay, we got 4.
That's 4.
Yeah. One more. This is a West Coast team that's in the NFC.
West Coast.
NFC. We narrowed it down a lot for you.
Yeah.
which is not the 49ers.
Not the Niners.
You already mentioned,
I'm in between the Seahawks or
no, you got it. It's the Seahawks.
It's the Seahawks? Okay, yeah. I was way more I was going to say the Rams, but I was way more confident on the Seahawks. Yeah.
Why do you think the Seahawks?
Yeah.
I don't know. They have a really cool logo, cool colors. I think
they're similar with the green.
Yeah. I think I would go with that if I was a Brazilian fan. And I think the last couple years, I think they've been an exciting team to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Won the Super Bowl. Seems like a long time ago, but it was in this era of football.
Yes, it does feel like a million years ago, but it really was. Yeah.
But so I think I did well. I'm proud.
Good, you crushed it.
No, absolutely. Pat yourself on the back for sure. So, do you know that number 6 Steelers, number 7 the Eagles, number 8 the Cowboys,
there it is.
Number 9 the Giants, and number 10 Broncos. Are you surprised by any of those?
I am surprised I forgot about some of those, like Steelers, Eagles, Giants. Those would have been good guesses as well. Yeah. Surprised at the Broncos. Maybe it was a Peyton Manning influence. Again, people that joined and wanted to really follow the great. So maybe the Broncos is a surprising one.
I like it. You did really well.
Yeah, no, you did really well. It's like you were just expecting to talk about it. And now we had you on the hot seat, but you did really well.
Sorry for the trivia.
Yeah, oh yeah. So how do you think the Brazilian NFL fan base compares to the fan bases in London and in Germany?
I think I actually see similarities, like at least from when I was with the Chiefs, we played in London one year, and what everyone said to me leading up to that what was really cool and different from what you get from an NFL experience in the States is that the stadium is filled with all the jerseys. It's like a rainbow of all the jerseys. They're just pure football fans, NFL fans that are there for the game. Not as much as obviously in the States where they're cheering for one team or the other. Just having that close contact with NFL football in their country, that's really where the party is at in those types of environments and games. And Germany seems very similar to London, and so I think that in general, I already kind of knew of that aspect of Brazilian fans that they get together. The group that I know in Brazil, it's like Sundays, let's go out to a restaurant or a bar, and it's just like people with all the jerseys watching whatever the game is on. It's not necessarily team A or B who are playing on that Monday night or Sunday night. It's all the jerseys go to the bars to watch NFL football and talk and learn together. So that's really cool about it. That it's just like it's like an enjoyment of the game in the league itself versus just specifically for one team. So they can bring any team to Brazil, Mexico, London, Germany. It's going to be a hit because of the NFL product, I think.
Here's what I've learned. I've been very lucky to cover the international games over the last couple of years. And I think initially that's what it is. And the lead up to the game is like that, where people are just like, there's an NFL game here in our house. We're not watching it, at a random hour, sometimes 2 a.m. for a primetime game, depending on what time zone you're in. But what I've noticed over the last couple of years is that the international fans will take a rooting interest in one of the two teams. And it's usually the home squad, right? Whether they inherently have fans there already, the ones that are sort of up in the middle will be like, okay, cool. If they're the home team, then that's who I'm rooting for. I saw it in Mexico with 49ers, pretty much 49ers against anybody, but 49ers over there were heavy. The Chiefs in Germany, like I went over there as a Dolphins girl in a different capacity. Overwhelmingly Chiefs Kingdom for that first game in Frankfurt. It was nuts. Wow. It was crazy. So I am anticipating that in Brazil, they are going to pick one. So I'm super excited to see who the two teams are going and then which way the fan base in Sao Paulo will lean.
That's a great point. Very interesting too, because those London, Germany, Brazil, I'd say soccer is like the main 100%. Culture.
Yeah.
So it's just like if England, Germany, or Brazil's national team would be playing at home, they're going to support the home team. So it's like that's so cool to hear that, because it's like the whole country embracing that. No, let's support.
Now we got to figure out how to make the Bears the home team in the South.
Yes, that would be ideal. We need to make that happen.
Let's start. Let's start a movement
for you.
Yeah. I would appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Cairo, before we let you go, if you are an NFL team that is going to be playing in Brazil, how do you think they should prepare for the trip, the logistics, and being in Brazil?
Bug spray.
Yeah, so the climate in São Paulo, I think, is going to be awesome around that time because it's opposite of the north hemisphere.
Yeah.
So while here is going to be depending on when the game is, but assuming it could be earlier
October,
in the
November.
season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as it gets colder here, that's just like starting the spring. So at night it should be a lovely 70s, probably low 80s.
I love this for us.
It's expect just don't eat a lot of meat leading up to that week. Wait till you get to Brazil so you can eat all the churrasco, because that's some of the best meat in the world right there. So I would expect to eat very well, and that people are gonna as you leave the airports, I think as you enter the hotels, people just like they do with national soccer teams, people are going to be outside waiting to screaming, and then that it's such a cool. It's going to feel like a Super Bowl, for players that have been. I really feel like it's going to be like a Super Bowl week where it's going to elevate the intensity and how special that game will be. Even if it's a regular season game, it's going to feel definitely different than a regular season game.
Do you samba, and how soon should we start the samba lessons before we go to Brazil?
I don't know if you guys saw the clip of me dancing after the Minnesota game. I was trying to do the gritty, and I got made fun of because my rhythm was off. And
Cairo.
But that's very different from samba.
It is, and I cannot samba. I can only score the goals. And,
we got you. You do the goals. We'll take care of the samba. That's you focus on the job. It's all good.
I'm a two-step kind of guy.
This is where you live. This is where you live.
Hey, Cairo, thank you so much again for the time, for being on with us, for meeting MJ. I'm glad that we all are together in this, and we are so excited, so happy for you, and I hope your dream comes true where you get a chance to kick there in front of your hometown, in front of the fans of Brazil who know you and love you and admire you for what you've done in your NFL career. So thank you so much for taking the time. Again, the first time we've had a guest on twice on this podcast.
Woo-woo!
We got to make it 3 times as we get rolling with this. So thank you again so much, Cairo, for the time.
Anytime, guys. A pleasure to talk to you guys. And thank you for helping us grow Brazil and, in the NFL and making this all happening.
Absolutely.
Muy obrigado.
Obrigado a vocês.
Obrigado.
Chao, chao.
Chao.
Tercera campaña en la NFL proveniente de Nebraska.
¡Uy! Pase interceptado y sigue la mata dando. La jugada grande de parte de Jack Jones. 62-7.
They both said "Oi" at the exact same time. That pretty much sums up how that game went.
Well, they knocked off not just the Chargers, but also their head coach, Brandon Staley, got fired the following day because of that. And it seemed like the Chargers were not playing with any juice whatsoever. It looked like the Chargers no tenían ánimo, no tenían gana. They just didn't have it where they wanted to be there. The tackling was poor, and the Raiders just had their way. So the Chargers are going to be charting a new course now with a new head coach and with a new general manager. So they're playing out the string. One of the teams in their division that is not going to be playing out the string, the Broncos, they're going to be hosting the Patriots Sunday night on Christmas Eve, which can be seen on NFL Plus and on NFL Network. And for the Patriots, at this point in time, there's a lot of speculation over Bill Belichick's future, right? And they play the Chiefs extremely tough in Foxborough, and you could tell threw off the Chiefs. Right. They were definitely fighting. And again, that's what we were saying about just with the Chargers. And then there's the Broncos who are still fighting for their playoff lives, so to speak, something that we did not expect a few weeks ago. So what do you make of this game?
I think it could be one of those, gotcha games. But I think it's two teams that absolutely want to prove that they've got more fight in them this late in the season. And certainly the Broncos, who began to right the ship, if you will, for whatever it's worth at this point in the year, and started playing much better football than what we saw at the beginning of the year. So whenever you have those kind of chips on their shoulders, it usually turns out to be not only chip B, but some good football as well, which is all that we could ask for.
100%.
Season.
Yeah, well, just the AFC South alone is so interesting because you have the Jaguars, the Texans, and also the Colts who are fighting for playoff positions. And so I think the AFC is going to be wild, I think. And then you have the Bengals that won with Jake Browning against the Vikings in a game that was also on NFL Network. And so they're still, in this thing. The Steelers are trying to figure things out. There's some games this coming weekend that really have the playoff implications. The Rams, 7-7. Everybody thought this was going to be a rebuild for them. They're facing the Saints, who are 7-7. And then the Browns continue to win with Joe Flacco, which we didn't bring up that loss for
Cairo. Still the fact that we're talking about Joe Flacco as a starting quarterback in the year 2023 and a half, almost 4. It is just a reminder that things are wild right now in the league. Wild.
Yeah, but especially in that AFC, I'm telling you, that is going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. Really, just by that.
Look at that. Speaking of wild,
that Hail Mary, which I'm sure for Cairo
called it, which was
I'm sure for Cairo.
I didn't name it that.
Yeah,
I read the headline.
Darnell Mooney just kicking himself.
Yeah, I did not want to bring that up to Cairo because we're talking about positive things for next year. That was rough. That was a rough loss. Tight game.
Yeah. No, it was a tight game, and the Browns defense is a good one, and they have Joe Flacco throwing the ball a lot, which comes with some risk. He threw a bunch of picks, but either way, I mean, they are in it at this point in time, and just like we are in the throes right now of Christmas shopping still.
Oh my God.
And literally like every day I am just hearing the beep, 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 beep outside the door. And I know there's packages coming our way. And we just have a bunch of packages trying to figure out who they're going to go to and when we're going to deliver them and how we're going to deliver them. There's still like packages that we're still waiting on, and the kids obviously excited about Christmas.
I saw a TikTok this morning of a USPS worker who said, "Hey, can you guys do us a favor and tell your kids who Santa Claus really is? It's not some white guy in a sleigh, please. It's us. It's UPS. It's DHL. It's FedEx. It's Amazon. We're tired. Stop buying stuff."
Yeah, they are working just
so deeply. Shout out to every single person who works in the delivery service. Like this is, they are doing the Lord's work. Okay. Because there's no way that I could get any of the shopping done. First of all, I shipped everything immediately to the respective houses. I'm not wrapping it. If Amazon has a gift wrapped option, I'm clicking it. How much is it? $3.99? Take my money.
Even if it comes in like that generic silvery pouch or bag.
Yep. It's a pouch. It's a pouch with a string. It looks beautiful.
Something. Yes.
I have been to multiple homes where it's like all the Amazon pouches. I was like, I'm not mad at you. Okay, there's no judgment. Because who has time?
Makes it easier
to do all of this? Of course it does. And easier for them. Because if I'm sending it to my sister-in-law or to my sisters, they don't have to worry like, well, now I have to hide this. It's already wrapped.
Yeah, and the name tag crisis that we had yesterday.
The name tag crisis?
Averted, because we were looking for it because had the scissors and you have the wrapping paper and the bows, and then you have to unwrap the whole thing. And then, well, we were just like looking all over, and then we started looking the bags that had already the gifts in them, and then we're like just digging our hands in there. It's like, gosh, is it in there somewhere? So don't know where it is. It's probably in a gift, so we have to get name tags. So
my husband is very mad at me because I ordered a very cool thing for myself, and I showed it to him. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have bought this for you for Christmas." I still have no idea what.
Because it's one less gift he has for you.
I know. I'm notorious for this. If I see some, I'll tell you what it was. It was a really cool, redesigned, refurbished, like vintage Dolphins sweater.
He could have
that I saw on an episode of Hard Knocks that he and I were watching together. I spotted the lady wearing it in the stands. It was in front of Raheem Mostert's wife, who's an angel. And I immediately Googled it. Bedazzled vintage Dolphins sweatshirt. Pops up, found it. Because they're vintage, they only have like a couple of each thing. So I had to move quickly, you see. So I'm ordering as we're watching Hard Knocks. David was none the wiser that I was doing this. And so it arrived. So it arrived and he was like, "This is beautiful. Like, this is so cool. But why didn't you tell me?" I'm so tired of being overly independent when I have a whole husband. I need to stop. I need to calm down.
But for me too, like I feel like I didn't give the missus enough, and so I feel like I have to get one more thing because
I like
you
that,
get
Will. Follow that.
Well, because you get so wrapped up, it's like the kids and what they want, and we just don't think of ourselves as much. And then so I feel like I got to do one more stop, one more place to go, and then I'm gonna feel like okay,
anything sparkly, anything that sparkles,
so
or anything that barks.
Well, that's not happening.
Too much. Okay, I crossed the line. I will say this though, and tell me if it's like this in your house. David only has to worry about whatever he's getting me because I'm taking care of everybody else, of his sister, his brother-in-law, our nieces. He doesn't have to buy anything. So I'm like, no, actually.
That's why there's more pressure.
I don't need to throw you a bone. Yes,
but there's more pressure on the guys where you have to do something. And they'll say the same thing. It's like, I had to take care of the kids. It's like, come on. I've done everything. I've taken care of everything. Take care of the dogs. So
although will we ever get to a point where we're like, as grown adults, we don't need to be buying Christmas gifts for each other? I had this conversation earlier.
No, you gotta
still... You're like, that's not a thing.
I don't think that's a thing at all. Come on, there still has to be exchange of goods and services. You know what I'm saying?
We did have an afternoon of great volunteer work this weekend. So I have to shout out Beauty to the Streets and the Joy Taylor Foundation. We went out there, went to Skid Row, and helped serve 450 unhoused members of our community over the weekend. And like that to me, those are the things that I rather allocate our time to. So they put together a tremendous afternoon. They do this regularly. We were the ones who just showed up one weekend, right? Like they are out there in the community week after week. So maybe guys, if you guys don't know what to do, maybe set that up for your family. Even if you are getting gifts, like it's good to pass it on and pay it forward a little bit too. That's I got off my high horse. Yeah.
Wow. My punto is I'm not you, prima hermana.
He said eye pockets for everybody.
I want to be you, but I don't know if I can measure up.
No way. Yes, you can.
That's amazing, honestly, and that's what this season's all about, right? It sounds cheesy or corny to say that, but that's really what it should be about because it's just a giving of yourself, even if it is giving to somebody. Giving something to somebody just to see the smiles on their faces.
No question.
That's what it's all about. So my punto is just that I'm not you, and I wish I was.
No, it's not about me. These organizations were the one who put all of this together. I just helped out for a couple hours, so all the props to them. But I am excited to get a little bit of family time in between football and in between work, and then that's it. We turn the page to 2024. Will.
Yep.
Wild.
I know.
Wild. We've got a week and a half left of the year, if that.
Yeah.
Under 2 weeks.
So you're gonna have to get used to writing checks that say 2024, not 2023.
Well, who's writing checks? Are you writing physical checks?
Occasionally, but not as much. It's like if it's for school stuff, yes.
Fair.
But everything is Apple Pay or Venmo,
Zelle,
that kind of thing.
Yes.
But
I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, some people still like the good old fashioned checks. But
when I do my notes, like my football notes, I still write the date on top for me because I'm a weirdo like that. Yeah.
Yeah, weird. You're like me. I mean,
we're old school like that, Will.
Yes, we are. Okay, then I'm going to take back my punto. We are closer than what I realized.
There's more that binds us than separates us for sure. But this is awesome. I'm excited to see what the not only what Christmas brings, but what the New Year brings. It happens fast. The days are long, but the season is short, as our amazing NFL media family member Puma Nelson says all the time.
Puma.
Shouts out to Puma. All right, well, we'll do this again next week, and I'll let you know what David got me.
Yeah. I mean, but are you gonna be like, I knew it? I will
be honest with you, honestly, and nobody's gonna believe me, but if he gets me nothing at all, I'm also fine. It's also our anniversary.
That's a trap. That's not true. Stop with this. I'm okay if I don't get anything. That we need.
I don't need anything.
We will investigate that in the next episode of the Huddle podcast because you can't just spring that on me at the end of this thing. No way. I need to go. That's a wrap. This is it. Yeah, that's a wrap. This has been the Huddle podcast. hopefully we will be back together again, because there's some things that need to be said in the next one.
God. Clarified.
Feliz Navidad,
Feliz
the
Navidad.
whole thing, right? Enjoy the time, everybody, with your families, la familia. Enjoy yourselves, have a lot of good food, watch a lot of football. Y gracias de nuevo for listening to the podcast. Remember to download, subscribe, and like. We want to hear from you. Prima hermana, Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Bye.
Adios.